Hey guys, this is Ellie, and you're listening to My Digital Diary. So, this is a brand new podcast that I'm just kind of having fun recording my thoughts and just kind of creating a time capsule for myself as I am navigating now my mid 20s. Bleh. And um, I recently went through a really hard season and I'm still kind of in it. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I've been doing a lot of reflecting. I'm in therapy. I'm heading into a brand new chapter of my life. And so I figured, yeah, why not document it in the medium that I am really into right now? So, just to kind of tell you kind of what this is going to be about. So, I am really inspired by Brittany Broski. I think she is God's gift to earth, and I'm not really anything like her, but just listening to her podcast and watching Brittany Broski or the Broski Report, um, she's just such an inspiration that you can truly just be yourself 110%, and the right people will find you. And they'll find you endearing and inspiring and interesting. And so I, it, I'm just inspired to truly be myself 110%. And, um, so yeah, I love the way she has her podcast. Like it's somewhat like planned, but it's not written down or, really she's kind of processing as she's talking and like googling stuff as she's speaking, and I don't know, it just feels like hanging out with a girlfriend, and that's what I want the vibe of this podcast to be. So kind of like she has the Broski Report, um I want this to kind of have some segments to it, and hopefully soon I will have like music to like fade in as I transition to different segments, but hopefully some of my friends that have podcasts can help me with that soon. But yeah, this is kind of the trial run slash episode 1. Funny enough, I did record a first episode. I didn't have the name of the podcast yet. I didn't quite have the names of all my segments down yet. Plus, I felt like I revealed too much personal information, and thank God no one listened to it, and I took it down. So, um, so yeah, I feel like this time I kind of have a clearer head of like what my vision is, and um, not like I'm really taking this seriously. Like I'm having a lot of fun with it. I just don't want it to be silly goofy in a way that's like not smart. Like I want this to be silly goofy, have a good time, but I don't want to regret posting this on the internet. So, yeah, let's get started. So, my first segment um that I want to start every video, I'll have like a chatty intro um that will be kind of part of the segment. Like the segment will be called or is called um expanding my taste. And so I if you don't know me, I'm a very picky eater. My mom, is an amazing mom. She always had food on the table, but it was very lightly seasoned. And I grew up with a lot of um chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, that type of thing. And so I never was really I was like shamed about it by my family, but like my mom made sure that there was always something that I wanted or that I liked at every meal or family meal or restaurant or anything like that. So, it kind of stunted my growth when it comes to like my taste and like my personality when it comes to food. And so, I am deciding that every week on my podcast, I will either talk about a new food that I've tried in that week, or I want to potentially try something new on the podcast live. So I have an idea of something because I've been trying out different foods with a friend of mine. And so I kind of want to get started with that. So I really stick to, chicken strips and fries. Like, I've broadened my horizons to like now I eat a little bit of steak or like grilled chicken or Mexican food or hibachi food, like I've grown, but like chicken strips and fries or chicken nugget and fries, like that is my bread and butter. That's what will make my stomach feel better if I'm sick. Like I literally will have a stomach bug and I'm like, to settle my stomach, I think I need to go get Wendy's. Like, I don't know what it is about that, but it just is so comforting that like it's always been there for me. And so anywhere I go, it's usually chicken strips and fries. And I've had a new friend come in my life and he's just been like, "Ellie, we gotta get you out. We gotta get you out of chicken strips and fries. We gotta get you cultured and things." So he has taken me to a Mediterranean place, which literally is right across the street from my apartment. Had no idea it was there. I go to that strip mall all the time for the Mexican restaurant, but I've never even seen the sign. Like I cannot even believe it. And he had lamb kebabs, which they were really good, honestly. And then I got a chicken shawarma wrap, which was honestly really good. Um, and I just like maybe I should share this later, but I'll just share it now. Kind of a spoiler. A revelation that I've had about food in trying new foods, especially like food, like drinks you can kind of like, get more inspired, I guess, or like try different things. But with food, it genuinely is like meat, starch, vegetable, maybe some fruit. Like you can't really stray too far from the food pyramid. And like no matter how innovative food is, it really just comes down to what kind of meat is it, what kind of seasoning, what kind of sauce. Sometimes what kind of starch. Like Mexican food doesn't really have a ton of potatoes, I assume, I guess. Um and like same with like Asian food, it's mostly rice. But it's just rice and noodles. Now that I'm thinking about it. Um it's like either like a potato or it's a rice or it's a noodle or it's a bread or it's like a pizza or a pasta. Like, you can only go so far. And so I think that is helping me with trying new foods. I will say though, after this meal and the next meal I'm going to tell you about, my stomach did hurt. And not like I had food poisoning, I didn't throw up, I didn't do any of that. It just was not chicken strips and fries, which is awful. But it's like genuinely my stomach is like, what did you just put in my body? And I feel like it needs to like come out. So it just kind of like felt kind of icky. So the second place he took me was an Indian place, which I come to this Indian place all the time because I actually do DoorDash and Uber Eats on the side as like a part-time job. And this place gets deliveries all the freaking time. I'm always there. And I never envisioned myself actually eating the food because the food to me personally with my very limited taste buds smells gross. And like I have to like roll down the window when I'm driving with it in my car. Like I don't like it. So he brings me there and I'm like, oh God. Okay. And excuse me. He got something that was very, very spicy. Oh, no, wait. No, it wasn't actually spicy. It was just red. Like, one thing I learned about Indian food is that I guess, like, how they cook it or how they marinate it or something, like, the sauce color kinda seeps into the chicken or the whatever it is, the meat, which I thought was it freaked me out, but his was good. I don't remember what it was called. It was it was, like, chicken on the bone, like, dark meat, like, thighs and legs, with, like, some bell peppers and onions and, like, a red sauce, and it was definitely, like, more savory, and then I got chicken tikka masala. Oh, and it had rice. Both of ours had rice. And mine was just the chicken and the sauce, which I'm you will never catch me using a condiment. Now I'll do like queso and guac or like honey or syrup, but to me guac is not a condiment, it's a dip. Like dips are different than condiments. Um I can go into a whole rant about that. But yeah, so this but going back to dips and sauces and things, like I'm still like a you take a whole tortilla chip. Some people are like scooping it till there's a pool of queso on your chip. I'm still like a put like the corner in and take a bite. Like I'm kind of dipping my toe into dips and sauces. When this chicken tikka masala came out, it was like a soup. Genuinely, I was like, "Oh no." Like there's like even with my cashew chicken, which I live in the Midwest, so we get Springfield style cashew chicken. The blandest Chinese food you'll ever have, but it's yummy to me. I even get my sauce on the side there. So the fact that this was swimming in sauce, I'm like, oh no. But it was good. It was like sweet, kind of. It was good. But again, my stomach hurt afterward, sadly. We did also have garlic naan, which was yummy. And then, which honestly, naan is kind of like cheesy bread, just not quite as intense. It's kind of more flat. And then he ordered a like, to me, it tasted like a mango smoothie, but like melted. Like it was a drink, but it was like mango juice mixed with milk or something. And when he said that, I was like, oh no, I'm not trying that. And I'm not a huge mango person either. But I tried it and it was okay. Like I literally had like 3 sips and I'm like, I don't want this. So, out of all these things, I would give the chicken shawarma wrap. And when I say these things were good, like I ate about like a fourth of what was on my plate. I'm just still so sensitive. I feel like my stomach is just really sensitive and I'm just being a baby as well. But I would give the chicken shawarma wrap. It also had french fries in the wrap. So that was major points for me. And like having the french fries there helped me feel more comfortable. I will give that meal a 6 out of 10. The fries were if it was just the fries it'd be like 10 out of 10. And then the chicken shawarma wrap, the chicken tikka masala with the mango drink would be like 4 out of 10. Almost a 3. I feel like normally for anyone else, a 3 is like, ew, I'm not even eating that. But like, I ate it, but I'll never eat it again, type of a thing. So yeah, that is, I think that's all I have for my expanding my taste, segment of the show. So I will continue to try other things. I've been trying to try different Alani flavors as well, so maybe I'll save those for next week because I already had 2 major meals that I had that were brand new. So yeah, maybe I'll talk about those next week. So the next segment is kind of like my like main topic. I don't really have a name for this segment actually. I guess like current events or like breaking news or something like the main meat and potatoes of the podcast. Which I'm now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, what am I even gonna talk? Oh, okay. I have something. So, in my trial episode that I ended up deleting, I well, actually I don't want to talk about that just yet. And the crazy thing is, I don't know how to edit podcasts, so y'all are just gonna be listening to this. What can I talk about? Because I feel like everything I want to talk about is gonna go in either of my other two segments. Or 15 minutes in. Well, I guess I could kind of talk about. You know what? I know what I'm going to talk about. Okay. So, this actually happened today. So if you don't know me, you don't know anything about me. But if you do, you know that like I said in the beginning, I've gone through a really hard season. Really, these last like 6 months, I've been really, really down. And well, actually, not even 6 months. 4 months, about. And it's crazy. Wow. Hearing that, it feels like it's been a year, but it's only been 4 months. Wow. Dang. Anyway, because of this like truly traumatic season of my life, I am in the process of changing careers. As of right now, I'm a first grade teacher that I'm in my 3rd year, and it was my number one dream in life to become a teacher. I mean, from the second that I stepped into a school when I was 5 years old, it was like, this is it. Like, this is the place for me. My mom talks about how when I was a child, I was like a baby. I was very naughty. I was a colicky baby. Like, you couldn't put me down. And I would throw these major fits and smear poop everywhere when I was mad. And she finally came up with something that worked, just because nothing worked with me. And when I was like 3, she brought home these like learning books, like workbooks, and or maybe that wasn't 3. I think when I was 3, she brought home a US map puzzle, and you like put the states together to make this country. And maybe the learning books too. Maybe I should ask her. But she had told me, like, once I got those for you, everything changed. She was like, you just had all of this energy, and it just needed to be aimed at something, funneled toward a goal. And she said, once I did that, you were unstoppable. And I wasn't what you call gifted. Like, I tried to be in the gifted program, but I was like, my test score like cut me off. Like, I needed like 3 more points or something stupid. And so, but I was like a very successful child, like in education. I succeeded in basically anything I did. And I loved learning. I loved the idea of being a teacher, and just I wanted my teachers to love me and like see that I was different, and like give me like other jobs and stuff. And I was very organized and very driven, and like even up to high school, like I had a job, I was in honors classes, I was in musicals, I was in show choir, like I was doing it all. And I loved it. I was pretty successful at everything I did. And then I went to college, and kind of the same thing. Like I was like the first one to go to college, like, and just everything was like the world was open to me because I was successful in school. And what they taught you in the 2010s is, if you succeed in school and go to college, like, there's nothing, there's no limit to your success. Like, that's the way to succeed in life. And so I followed all the rules and I did it and I succeeded, graduated college, and landed my dream job. It I don't want to give too much away, but this wasn't necessarily my dream school because of its location, but they were doing this program called the Ron Clark Academy. And I think they had, oh yeah, they were talking about it in the interview as if something they were going to do the next year. And the way that my jaw dropped, because I had been learning about that in college, and I was like, God knows that I'm meant to be here. Like, I'm so obsessed with the school in Atlanta. And like, the school that I'm interviewing for is doing their same program. Cuz it's like very very short. I wouldn't know how to label it. I don't think it's a charter school and I don't think it's a private. Maybe it's a private school. Yeah, in Atlanta. And they just they have the house system, kind of like Hogwarts, and they just do everything to the max. And they do it for kids who would normally be like the bright students in rough neighborhoods, and they teach them skills that would be successful, or so they can be successful in like the business field and in college, where like maybe in that neighborhood maybe they would be more likely to stay in poverty, type of a thing. So I was super excited, and when I landed the job, I I I got the call when I was driving on the highway, and I pulled over and I bawled my eyes out and I said, "Thank you, God. Thank you, God. This is everything I've ever wanted." And, it's going to be hard. The kids are going to be hard, but like everyone that I was talking to knew that this school had a great staff and great staff morale, and anyway, all these things. And so getting like the keys to my classroom and spending, God knows, like a solid month pulling 10-hour days every single day over the summer, roping in anyone who would come help me and turn my classroom into, everything I'd ever envisioned. Like my true heaven. And I was buying all the teacher earrings, the teacher t-shirts, the clothes. I was like, this is what I've worked for my entire life, is to be a teacher. And now I'm a teacher. Now I have my own classroom. And look, these kids on this list in front of me were meant to be my students. And, it was very overwhelming in like such a positive way. Like, to me, that was my Super Bowl of like getting the job, setting up the classroom. Like, it was everything I could have ever dreamed of. And then the first day of school happened. And the school that I teach at has a very, very high population of students with trauma. I would say genuinely every student has some sort of trauma. And it's like 80 something percent stroke, 80% of 80 something percent, God, sorry, 80 something percent of students are on free and reduced lunch. And I wasn't really scared of it because that was me as a kid. I grew up in a good neighborhood and like in a good school district, but I would consider us like high middle or high low class. What do you call that? Little low, high class, middle class, poverty? I don't know. Like on the high end of poverty, like almost a middle class, but not quite. And so I was like, I'm not scared like that. I'm not scared of trauma because I've been through it. And maybe one day I'll share some of that. But these kids were something else. I'll just share a couple of things that have like no student names or anything like identifiable. Unless you know me, then you'll know. But like I had kids who, let's say we were playing a math computer game and it was based on math fluency, so it was like kind of quick and you wanted to defeat the monster, and it did have like da 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 da, like, like the amp up, hype up music that you would have in like a video game. And it really triggered my kids. They would throw their Chromebook across the room. They would scream. They would cry. They would wrap their headphone cords around their neck and tighten it. Um, they would lash out at each other and at me. And that was over like one computer game. So, like, over the course of like the whole year and like all of our parts of our day, like, I would have to like stand in the middle of kids as they were trying to fight each other. Um, or, just really, I had just never seen anything like it before with my own eyes. I had heard about it, like, I had read about it in textbooks, but I don't know, these kids were just like, they were living in homes where, they had run away from dad because he was abusive, or, we don't know, daddy's in prison, or mom's on drugs and doesn't really leave her couch. Like, it's just really a sad deal. And so it really felt like, okay, I'm going to rip my heart out of my chest and put it on this table and I've dedicated my entire life to serve the youth of America. And then I put my heart on the table and they just stabbed it over and over again. And if you're not in teaching, like, some people have a really hard time understanding. They're just kids. But like when you have such a toxic attachment to a career, any career, and it doesn't go the way you planned, it can mess you up. And so that year was filled with lots of tears and lots of panic attacks. And I just thought, my college professors told me it would be hard. And it's hard, and that's okay, and it's because I'm new, and I gotta get to know the kids and get to know like the expectations and how to teach, how to like manage everything. I was getting to school at 6 and leaving at 6, like pulling 12-hour days, and I loved it. I like, as much as it was so draining, like I was like, why would I want to be home? This is my home. Like, I hadn't decorated my apartment. I slaved away in that classroom and like created all of these novel experiences for them. Like, I'm trying to think of one from my first year. My second year was I did a lot more. My first year. Okay, I think I probably did this my first year too. Well, maybe not. Well, okay, I'll just give you this example. So, for man, I really want to give you one from my first year. Oh, I wish I had Instagram on my phone. Maybe Facebook will tell me. I would just come up with like these Pinterest ideas and things that I'm like, they don't have like, experiences like this. And I want to give them these types of experiences as their teacher. And hold on, let me find it. I'm looking. Okay. Okay. I know now. Okay. So, for example, Dr. Seuss Week. I know he's controversial. We're just going to glide over that, okay? So, I dress up as Cat in the Hat, of course. And I have a full day planned. Well, okay, so this is actually like Dr. Seuss Day. We had like a whole week of things. Like, we did like a whole writing thing that whole week about, the places you'll go, like, the career they want to be, yada yada. But this day, I think it was probably like the Friday or whatever. And oh, yeah, it was a Friday. And I was like, okay, we are going ham on this day on Dr. Seuss. So, I had a custom coloring page to start the day while they're eating breakfast. Then we watched Seussical the Musical and had a snack where like I put together this snack that like somehow was like a Pinterest Dr. Seuss snack. I can't even remember. Then we did a read aloud, which was like one of our mini Dr. Seuss books. Um, then we did a craft where they made a hot air balloon, and we hung them out in the hallway, and they had like these big clouds in the sky where it said like, "Oh, the places you'll go." And on the craft it said like, "When I grow up, I want to be a blank because blank." And so they did the writing, then they flipped it over and like colored the basket and colored the balloon and put it together with string, and it was, and we hung them out up in the on the ceiling in the hallway. Then we had where in the afternoon where I gave out all of my Dr. Seuss books and we did flashlight reading. So we turned all the lights off, passed out flashlights, and they got to look at Dr. Seuss books like under the table. And then finally we did like a favorite Dr. Seuss book bar graph. And so like just things like that. Like we had math, we had writing, we had reading. Like why does it matter that it was themed for one day? Like, well, we're getting into that. But yeah, like I poured my heart and soul into like this classroom and these kids, and every time that we would do stuff like this, they would lose their minds. They would be crying. They would be like, "Oh, I'm so excited! I'm gonna wrestle my friend to the ground and like rip his shirt." Like, just they couldn't find equilibrium unless it was Groundhog Day, unless they knew exactly what was going to happen. And the research tells us it's because they're coming from a very troubled home where it's chaotic and they don't know what's happening. A lot of these kids, they don't know they're moving until the morning of. And then they're swept away from their home, or worse, they like someone like a police officer will come to the school and tell them, "Hey, your mom, overdosed on drugs and now you're going to a group home." Like the saddest stuff happens to them. And so they really, really need to know exactly what's happening at all times. And so it really was confusing to me because I'm like, you don't get to have these experiences. Like, why don't you appreciate them? But really, they're just so like, it reminds them of home. It reminds them of chaos. Like at home, they get to eat like whenever they want. Well, kind of, because they're food insecure, but like there's no set time for dinner, there's no bedtime, there's no limit on screens, and so like they get that at home. But at school, they need the safety of, you know, I'm only on my Chromebook for an hour and then we're done. Like, and I know that because it's on the schedule and it's on the timer and yada yada. Like, they find comfort in that. So, anyway, flash forward that end of the year, I was like, you know what? We did it. The year's over. Next year has to be better. Well, we got a new principal. And we actually got a new principal and vice principal. And I'm not going to share a lot because this was what happened this year was very divisive. But ultimately, a member of our staff quit mid-year, and it was very, very divisive. It was like a civil war. Like I think of like Avengers. Or no, is it Avengers Civil War or Captain? I think it's Captain America Civil War, where like it's this the Sokovian Accords, and they're split down the middle, like what they want to do, and like genuinely, like it was like, are you on my side or their side all year long? Well, not all year, like from January till the end of the year, and it really like it just really felt like the priority was making sure the staff were not like bullying each other or hurting each other. Like it just was really tough. And our new principal had, I mean, like any principal, really, even the experienced principals, didn't know how to handle it. It was her first year being a principal ever, and it was really tough. And um just transitions are hard. And that year though, because it felt like so much of my principal's attention was on how do I be a principal? And oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? Like everybody everybody hates me, everybody hates each other. And so I really got a lot of freedom when it came to the classroom. So I did every fun thing under the sun. Was it also academic? Yes, because that's how my brain works. I'm like, you learn better when it's tied to a real life experience. And so I just tried to bring all of our Missouri learning standards to life with real life experiences and bringing in props and dressing up as people and making it a theme day. And, again, just going back to like, they don't get a chance to have these experiences. Like, I think about like birthday parties that I had growing up that they'll never experience, like going to the gymnastics place or having my birthday party at a movie theater. Like, just like things like that they'll never experience, like those like themed fun events like as a child. And so I tried, or even having a birthday party at all. I had some students who would come to school and I would say, "Happy birthday. Here's all the things I got for you for your birthday." And they're like, "It's my birthday?" Oh, dagger to the chest, dude. Like it was very heartbreaking. And um so yeah, I really did a lot on the 101st day of school. I dressed up as Cruella and I had the kids make Dalmatian shirts and I made them headbands and collars with their name on it. Like that was one of my favorite days of the year. We went crazy like for Halloween that whole week. Um let's see. We did Oh my gosh, February was crazy. We did so much stuff for like Black History Month. We did stuff for President's Day. Um, oh my gosh, all of the like that's why I wanted to make a teacher Instagram. After that year, I was like, I have so many amazing ideas. I should just become a teacher influencer. Well, I tried that. And that year was also hard, obviously, with everything that was going on with the staff, but like my class was genuinely like really good. I mean, for this school, like those kids still talked back to me every single day, but I didn't really have anyone that was like throwing stuff and crying. Well, I started crying. They're six, but like I didn't have any violent kids, and so I just got to have fun with my class, and I'll always cherish that. Even though like it was very difficult coming to work because of so many people, I mean, genuinely like having hatred in their heart for me because of beliefs that they had about me or about what I did or did not do. So yeah, that's all I'm going into on that. But then, we're sitting there, me and my friends, are we gonna renew our contract? That's always how we like in the year. Well, around January is when we decide because that's when jobs are posted. And I was like, it has to get better, right? Like it can't get any worse. Newsflash, it got worse. Um, this year, this is my third year. I very first day of school. Well, actually, let me go back. I decided to make a teacher TikTok and a teacher Instagram, and I posted little vlogs about me setting up my classroom, and I was having a lot of fun with that. But this summer, actually between my second and third year, I did summer school, and that was a mistake. I only had 8 kids, But 3 of those kids were okay, one was nonverbal. So that was, but he would like kind of like talk like mishmash. So maybe not nonverbal. I mean, kind of. And he had like a communication device. It was just hard because you never knew like what exactly he was saying. One kid would run laps around my classroom and just saying things like, um, here's Johnny. Like scary. Like right out of a horror movie. Um and he actually drove me crazy. And then I had another one who would at the drop of a hat just throw himself on the ground and scream cry. And I'm like, the money is so good. The money is so good. The money is so good. But genuinely I was so miserable. So miserable. Um so then really I only had July to kind of like get my summer back and try to like recuperate. And so I'm starting to set up my classroom, I'm making the vlogs, and it gets to like planning the first week of school and I'm filming myself planning it and I'm like, I don't know, I just don't really care. Like I usually care a lot. And this year like I feel like I know how it goes. I don't have to plan every minute. But I just really don't care. I'm not really looking forward to this. And someone commented, dang, you look burnt out. And that changed everything. I was like, no, I can't be burnt out. I love this job. This job is everything to me. And it just really like rocked me. But then I'm trying to tell myself, like, this person doesn't know you. Like, you're just like, you'll go back in the swing of things. Everything will be fine. So I go back, I have my first day of school and I get physically assaulted by a child for the first time. And to this day, I have a scar from this child. And that was a very big indicator as to how the year was going to go. I had major behaviors in my classroom. The most major the school has ever seen. And yeah, I was burnt out, genuinely, even though I didn't want to admit it yet. And my kids were, like, I think because I'm in it, it's hard to see the positive. Like, once the class is not mine anymore, I'm going to say all the things I love about them. But because they're mine right now, it's like I had a really rough day at school today. Actually, I didn't have a rough day. My kids had a rough day. They lost their whole recess. Like, it was bad. And, but, where was I going with that? Oh, like, majority of my kids are fine. It's just, like, 5 of them that are so god-awful. Like, physically assaultive, screaming, F you, go to hell, crying at the drop of a hat, always talking back, always doing the wrong thing while looking you dead in the eyes. Like, just like I have, not that I've never seen it, like I have, but it's like, dude, like this is so not normal. Like, please do not think that your behavior is normal because it's not. And it's so frustrating because I'm not their parent, but I spend more time with them on a daily basis than their parents do. And so it's hard to remind yourself that you're the teacher and that your job is not to make them into a good person. Your job is to teach them the curriculum and the standards. So, all that to say, we also had a curriculum change. And that came with lots of kicking and screaming and putting our heels in the dirt from all the teachers. And we were not allowed to do anything outside the curriculum. Anything. And that felt like putting a straitjacket on an artist. Like, I saw teaching as art. Like, that was my creative outlet. And then you're telling me, nope, you have to read from a textbook now. And it genuinely made me rethink everything. So I started going to work at contract time, leaving at contract time, and I lost my spark. And in November, I had a very traumatizing incident happen to me. I'm not really sharing what that is with the world, even with fellow staff members, but I genuinely, trigger warning for suicidal thoughts. I asked God to take my life multiple times, and I just really, like, it just felt like, why me? Why the person who gave everything to this job for it to stab me so hard in the back? And I actually took a week off, went back to my hometown, laid in the guest bedroom at my grandma's house, and just slept. I couldn't really think. Like, people would kind of ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But one thing was for certain, I was not going back to my school next year. And so I ended up coming back to work the next week and immediately started the resigning process, which, with education, at least in my school district, you have to pay and get approved to leave mid-year. And so I didn't have that money, but I was starting the resigning process for the end of the school year, so, like, to tell them I won't be returning next year. And my friends were like, are you sure you're not gonna, like, regret this? And I'm like, how could I stay here? How could I continue to be, I mean, this might be harsh, but tortured by these students and these parents who don't take accountability, and the system that, squelches teachers' creativity, takes away their autonomy. And I would understand if the people making the decisions were teachers, but they're not. The people that are making these choices for teachers don't live in education. And I do understand that that is, like, a universal experience, but I just feel like, for example, at Vera Bradley, all the rules they gave us and all the policies and all of the, when we would change POS systems and stuff, obviously it was not people who were cashiers making that choice. I understand that. Is it frustrating? Yeah. And they don't understand, like, hey, like, this makes my job so much harder, and it makes it harder for you to make money, for me to make money for you. And, it's one thing. But when you're making decisions that are detrimental to the youth of America and silencing teachers, it's hard to swallow. It's hard to live with yourself as the teacher who feels so restrained when you see things are falling apart. So, all that to say, I officially resigned in November, and being at work was traumatizing. I went through 4 long months of depression. Actually got on Prozac for a month. That really didn't help. Started therapy. That really was helping. It is helping. I'm still going. And it really took God and some friends and spring break to really heal me. It I kind of got to a point a couple weeks ago where I felt like I was back in that place where I'm like, God, take my life. I can't do it anymore. I I cannot be everything at work and then come home and have like, I'm a single woman. I live alone. Like, no one helps me to clean the house. No one helps me to pay the bills. So like, me doing DoorDash and Uber Eats on the side, like, when you're already so depressed, like, you don't have the motivation to do that. Then your bills don't get paid, and your house is a wreck, and you have no clean laundry, and your hair hasn't been washed for 16 days. Like, it gets to the point where it's like, how do I motivate myself? And that's when my therapist said, you need to rely on your resources because you're burning out. You have people in your life who want to help you. You just have to ask, you have to let them. And so I started letting my friends help me. A friend from my past reached out and we decided to become friends again. And that has helped so tremendously. I think he knows, but I don't know, maybe as deep as it is. Like, genuinely, he brings joy back into my life, having him back in my life. And I hate that, like, it was, a man. But it just feels like, man, when I'm in the same room as this person, like, I feel like I can exhale. I feel like I can shut off the part of my brain that's anxious. And it is just so nice. So yeah, if that special friend is listening, you know who you are. I appreciate you. And I feel like I got my spark back. But here's the thing, I got my spark back, but it's as Ellie. It's not as my teacher name. It's not as Ellie, the first grade teacher. It's Ellie, who I am to my core. And it really took this whole process of trauma to separate myself and find out who I really am. And realize there's more to life than your career. And I look back, and when I was in my lowest of lows and I was still reeling from the event, I asked God, why? Why me? And he whispered in my ear, I'm answering all of your prayers. And I genuinely was like, there's no way. And I don't think I want the prayer that means I have to go through this. But I'm looking back now, and I am so glad that I've grown out of the Ellie I was my first year of teaching. The Ellie who killed herself over, sorry, that sounds awful. The Ellie who worked herself so hard that she had nothing left for her friends, for her family. She really wasn't even open to, like, anyone. Like, it was all about my kids. It was all about my coworkers. And now I have such a full life. I am very involved in my church. I have a book club. I, spend more intentional time with my family. I have friends, like my church friends are friends outside of work. Like, I see them more outside of work than I do my coworkers. And it used to be my only friends were my coworkers. I'm starting a podcast. Like, I genuinely like have such a fuller life now, and I can have a job where I clock in. Well, I mean, I'm not really clocking in, but like I show up, do the work, and leave. And, I'm not quite healed enough to do another year. I thought about, teaching in another district, but an opportunity came up to work in school-based therapy. It would be like an entry-level position, same as what I'm getting paid now. And it's kind of like an entry level for psychology majors because like they go back and get their master's while they have this job. And I am so beyond excited for it. The people who I interviewed with, the way that they talked about their like staff morale, just kind of like their priorities, their norms, it just seemed too good to be true, which I know it could be. Like, I know like the job is going to be hard, like hearing the trauma of students and really like helping them cope and try to like change some behaviors that they're doing in class when it comes to like their trauma. And I know that's going to be hard, but to feel like my bosses truly support me and want, like, every time I go to say this out loud, I sound like it's not allowed. They want to take care of me. And that sounds like your boss shouldn't want to take care of you. But they literally said, we take care of our people because they take care of our students. And I'm like, wait, that makes sense. And so the only reason I'm not thinking it's too good to be true is because one of my best friends, she has this job. And so and she has this job at my school. So she just has such a, she doesn't really stress about work. It's very much clock in, clock out type of work for her. She doesn't take it home with her. And at this point, it's not a guaranteed job, but they are like, as soon as something's open over the summer when you're actually available, we'll contact you. I hope and pray this is where God wants me. I feel like this is where God wants me. But yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers about this today, and it kind of reminded me of the journey I've been on, and just I heard this from Lisa TerKeurst. I went to her event. She's a Christian woman author, or women's Christian author, and she wrote this book called I Want to Trust You, But I Don't. It's about trusting God. And I actually haven't read the book, but the seminar was amazing. She said, don't be quick to label something as the best thing that's ever happened to you or the worst thing that's ever happened to you, because who knows how God's going to use it. And she gave this example of this amazing story from her life, but I just think about, the worst thing I ever thought could happen to me, and God said, I'm answering all your prayers. It's just, gives me chills thinking about it. And so, yeah, that took way longer to explain than I thought, but that has been my journey the last 3 years of my life, but more importantly, the last 4 or 5 months of my life. And I'm really looking forward to my future. I'm looking forward to this transition and how I'll really be able to take care of myself so much better. And yeah, so you're going to get to come along with me with that. We have about 2 more months left of the school year, and then I will be transitioning to a new job. I'm also applying for online teaching as well, just in case that job doesn't really land for me. But yeah, both opportunities sound just like more relaxed, more like you actually can get your work done in the hours that they give you type thing. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Um, so yeah, we'll call that like current events. That can be what it's called, that segment. Sometimes I'll talk about something from pop culture that like I'm really interested in. Um, or sometimes I'll talk about, something personal that's going on. So yeah, that's my current events right now. Kind of my story in a way. I mean, my story is so much bigger than that, but you'll have to read my memoir for that. But which I tell everyone I'm writing a book about my life because it's so crazy. But yeah, let's get into our next segment, which is called The Third Wheel. Y'all are the third wheel as I talk about my dating experiences lately. So I thought, well, this is where I thought I kind of like poured too much out in my trial run episode. I kind of gave too much away, and I felt like, I don't know if I want everyone knowing about some of the things that I shared. So I'm re recording with new information, and I'm not really going to disclose anything right now. Everything's kind of new right now with my dating life. So I'm kind of putting a pause on sharing that. But I did want to talk about something like a major shift I've had in dating. So those of you that know me kind of know what's going on, but if you don't know me, how I used to, well, growing up, I thought of dating as, you graduate high school, you go to college, you meet the love of your life, and you live happily ever after. And that's not really how it went for me. I have seriously dated 3 men in my life. Most of them were really short relationships, but they were very deep, very quick. Um, because my mom growing up told me, I pray every day that you will marry the first man that you date and you'll never have a heartbreak. And so I feel like that kind of put some pressure on things. And so every guy that I've dated, it's immediately been like, okay, how are you with God? Do you want kids? What's your relationship like with your family? Do you play video games? Like, do you like things that are like major for me that like you either can't do these things or you have to do these things in order to be with me? And it just felt like from the 3 guys I've dated, it felt like a lot of pressure. Um, and all the second one was a little bit different, but my first and third boyfriends broke up with me because they're like, you are miserable and I'm obviously not the man for you, and I'm ready to like not have the cloud of pressure on me anymore. So that's not great. The second boyfriend I had, we were madly in love, and unfortunately, he had to move across the country for his job. And I was gonna go out there with him. I was gonna move out there with him, like the following summer, I think. And God literally was like, no. N-O, no, period. Like, this is not for you. And I kicked and screamed, but ultimately, we never ended up like hurting each other or treating each other bad, but we ultimately decided to break up. It was really, really sad. Looking back, like there were definitely some areas where, I felt like we weren't compatible, but in the moment, like we were definitely, oh, well, actually, all 3 of my relationships, I've talked about marriage, and like all of the men have been like, yeah, I can't wait to marry you and put a ring on your finger, like, but yeah, so that's kind of been the pattern so far. And in this last relationship, my friends were like, can you not, like, date I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm so tired. They're like, "Can you not just date casually?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, I'm not a whore." And they're like, "No, that's not what we mean. Like, are you able to just go on a date with a guy and then say, 'Did I enjoy hanging out with him?' Yes. Okay, let's go out another date." Instead of it being like, "Is this the man that I want to hold me when I find out my mother dies?" And like, oh, all this pressure. And she's my friends were just like, "You're scaring off every guy. Like they feel less than around you." And so recently, I've been in this, like, kind of like what I said earlier, like, I've just been feeling really anxious. I got into true crime for a little bit, and I just felt really scared all the time because I live alone. And I was just feeling like everything was too much, and I was just really craving a partner like all of my friends have. And it just was kind of getting to me a little bit. And we had a sermon at church all about marriage, and I was like, great. But the pastor listed all the things that women need in marriage and all the things that, well, okay, I'm sorry. Let me back up. The top 5 things that women need in marriage and the top 5 things men need in marriage. And I'm getting out my journal right now so I can read them to you. Now, this is based on research. You can disagree with it because it's not all men, not all women, but this is what the research says. What women need in marriage in order. Top 5. Number 1, affection. Number 2, conversation. Number 3, honesty and openness. Number 4, financial support. And number 5, family commitment. And then what men want in marriage in order. Top 5. Number 1, sexual fulfillment. Number 2, friendship. Number 3, physical attractiveness. Number 4, home care. And number 5, respect. And so those are obviously very different. And it genuinely opened my eyes to like, wow, like I feel like how I've been caring for men is like, okay, let me think. So, okay, my last relationship, we would have serious talks. And he had said something like, well, I just don't need you like that. Like, I don't need you for anything because, like, I got it on my own. I want you in my life and I want you to need me because I'm the man. But, like, I don't need love letters from you. I don't need, like, the lovey-dovey stuff. He's like, I don't need that. I love it, but I don't need it. Like, I just need you to be you and have you in my life. And that's all I need. Because, like, I was everything he needed already. And I could not wrap my mind around that because I'm like, well, there are times when I feel like I need you and I feel like it's unbalanced. And so I was thinking about that conversation when I'm listening to the sermon. And the pastor was like, a lot of women treat men the way that they want to be treated. They're trying to show them with their actions what they want them to do for them. When in reality, it's more effective to be direct about it and to communicate with your words what you need in a relationship. And then you listen to what a man needs in a relationship and provide what your man needs. Not trying to like show them without telling them, kind of a thing. And a lot of women struggle with this. They don't want to tell the man, please buy me flowers. I love flowers. We don't want a man to have to tell us that. But I was talking to my friend and he was like, all women are different. Like, if I hold the door open for a woman, is she gonna get offended that I don't think she can, like, that she's, like, less than? Because he's like, some women really are like that. And he's like, I don't always know what to do. And so I just feel like something clicked in me. And I'm like, as long as like the top three things in life are aligned, I can teach a man to love me the way that I need him to. And he can teach me how to love him the way he needs me to. And so I have really been thinking about that lately and how I talk with people and how I spend time with people. And I really feel like, oh my word, it is like not even my bedtime and I'm so tired. I just genuinely, I'm just shook. I'm like, wow, I feel like dating really could be so much easier than what I'm making it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in dating. I'm not ready to share exactly what is going on in my dating life. I'm not really sure what's going on in my dating life. It's kind of a big question mark right now. Um, but yeah, so there's that. In my final segment, we are now over an hour, which is crazy. My final segment is what we call Media Roundup. And this is where I share what I'm watching, what I'm reading, what I'm listening to. And guys, I have been reading Wicked, the book. It is really good, honestly. So much more different than the movie and the musical, but really good. And I had this in my head that I was going to be able to finish Wicked before my book club meetup. Well, I was checking our book club messages the other day, like on Sunday, and it said, we're meeting the 25th, right? Or maybe the 26th. The 26th, right? And I looked at that, I'm like, that is 2 days away. Holy cow, I haven't even started the book. And this book is over 300 pages long. And I'm like, no, that's so. Oh, no, 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 no. So thankfully, I already own the book. But I literally read that book in actual reading hours, probably 12 hours, which I feel like I could have read it faster, but I was very distracted. I was FaceTiming people. I actually like slept a whole night's sleep in between, like it was like over the course of 2 days. Um, that book is called The 5 Star Weekend. By hold on, I'm gonna find it. You're gonna know, by Ellen Hilderbrand. And it was such a cool concept. I really loved it, and everyone in my book club really liked it too. And I think I just need to read more books that way, where you just read it all in like 2 days, because I felt like I remembered so much more about it. Like I could think back to things from like previous chapters, and I don't know, book knowledge for me flies in and flies out. My brain's like, this isn't important. We're not sticking to this. And so, but yeah, a crazy experience. The first day, I read it literally from 4 p.m. to midnight. That was a wild evening for me. But yeah, what I'm watching right now is The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Season 7. It's crazy. If you're a Housewives fan, Apollo is going to prison right now, and that's crazy. My favorite housewife for Atlanta is definitely Nene. I just live for her. I'm like, she could be doing the shadiest stuff, and I'm like, you go. Like, I'm a ride or die for Nene. I like Cynthia. Um, I like Portia, but she is really immature. Cynthia's okay. Her and Peter, like, when they were getting married, that was stressful. Stressful. Um, I love Portia. She might have to be neck and neck with Nene. I do love Portia. I mean, sorry, not Portia. Phaedra. Phaedra. Phaedra and Nene are my top two for sure. Kenya, can't stand her. Cannot stand her. I need her to be off the show, and she sticks around, I'm pretty sure, for the rest of the show. Um, Candy, her voice is like cool. I like listening to it. But her mother. I have never wanted a woman to drop dead in my life. I cannot stand Candy's mom. She has ruined so much for Candy. And like now her friends are like making fun of Todd. And I'm like, okay, is Todd the problem? Like, what's going on there? But now Todd's acting kind of weird. I don't know. Candy's life is just really stressful, in my opinion. Um, who's left? We have some new people on the show. There's two new people. RHOA season 7 cast. Claudia. I don't have many opinions about her. I feel like the fact that I'm pretty sure I get her and the other one mixed up. Actually, hold tight real quick. I'm going to take a quick break and come right back to finish this media roundup. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I just really had to pee. And now my Target order says that it's ready, and I already told them that I'm here, or that I'm on my way. So I'm going to wrap this up. It's already been an hour and 16 minutes. I was talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. I figured out who I was missing, Demetria. She's the one that I was talking about earlier. So I do like Claudia. I think she's a down-to-earth girl. She's a true girl's girl. Demetria, I liked her too. She's very to the point. Like, hey, like, this is my issue with you type of a thing. Just, straight to the point. So, yeah, I'm really invested in this whole Phaedra Apollo thing. Phaedra is just, to me, like, I get it, like, she's definitely drama, but to me, she's just such a classy woman. And I know not everyone's gonna agree with me on that, but like oh child, Jesus fix this. Like, she's just so Southern, and I freaking love it. I love it. So, anyway, that's what I'm watching. I'm hopefully tonight gonna watch the Twister movie, the one about the Joplin tornado. My friends were telling me not to watch it because it was like a little bit triggering to like, because I did grow up in Joplin and I didn't experience the full tornado, but I was definitely there when it happened, and I was in Carthage, thank God. So I didn't I wasn't in it. I didn't get hurt or anything, but my aunt went through it. And obviously when you live in a town that's been bulldozed by a giant tornado that was literally world news, it's wild. It's a wild experience. So I'm really excited to watch it. I love a good doc. I'm very fascinated by like big things like 9/11, the tornado, Hurricane Katrina, like tragedy, I guess, which maybe sounds a little bit insensitive, but I'm just fascinated by like all the details about it, like school shootings and stuff. Like, I can't like explain it. It's why people love true crime. It's a fascinating story. And yeah, so I'm excited to watch that. One of my coworkers today said that I should watch Severance because she said it's very similar to what you're going through with like, I want to be me. I don't want to be teacher Ellie. I want to be Ellie, like who I am inside. And I've also heard good things about Severance, so I might see if a friend will give me their login for Apple TV so I can watch it. And then I'm also a huge Marvel fan, so I did go see the new Captain America. I talked about it all in the trial run episode that I deleted, but I eh, to me it was just meh. Like I'll never watch it again. It was so meh. Like not bad like the Marvels. That was embarrassing. Personally in my opinion, but that movie was just filler to me. It was just very like what even happened that was important. Um so yeah, I had to watch a full like commentary after that to even understand what was going on. Um so now I have to watch the new um Daredevil series, which unfortunately Daredevil is my least favorite Defender, which makes me so sad. But I think the Punisher's in it, and I love Kingpin. Weirdly, I'm like, why am I rooting for Kingpin? Like in the original show, he was so like he falls in love and he's like, I'll burn the world for you. Like and he's got that like grumbly voice. I'm like, ugh. Like I'm not physically attracted to him at all. But I'm like, I want a man that will burn the world for me. Like, lay a hand on her and you're dead. Like and like literally he will shoot you dead. like that's kinda hot. I don't know what. But and I just don't find Daredevil appealing in any way. Like, he's not hot. He doesn't really have much of a love interest. There's the whole miscommunication trope with him and Foggy. And, like, also Foggy is just emotional. And he's also annoying. I liked Elektra, but obviously she was, like, the bad girl. Like, he wasn't supposed to be with her. The girl, I can't remember her name. She's also, like, kind of annoying. I don't know. I'm like, could we not get, like, Luke Cage, the Punisher, which I think the Punisher's in this, which I may have just said. Iron Fist was okay. I liked the siblings. I don't think they were his siblings, but I think they were, like, the brother and sister and the dad in the basement. Like, that part was kind of cool and scary. Um, and, like, him and the, like, Asian girl who, like, fell in love and learned like whatever that was. I'm not gonna get it right. It was either taekwondo or jujitsu or something. But yeah, I just don't really care for Daredevil. So the fact that that's the one that they brought back. Oh, Jessica Jones, awesome, hot. The first season of Jessica Jones was very, very triggering for me. But the second one was good. I liked the second season. So I don't know. I'm kind of annoyed that I have to watch it. But I found this new YouTuber. His channel is called New Rock Stars, and they post every single day about Marvel stuff, like reacting to new stuff and just like reviews and also I don't know, just like here's what you need to know about this or like here's all the reasons why we think Scarlet Witch is coming back for Doomsday. Like I watch shit like that. Like yeah, I love it. So yeah, they're posting about Daredevil, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. I guess I'll watch it. But so that'll also be on my to be watched list. But yeah, that's kind of my life right now. I think that's everything I've been digesting media wise. Yeah. But anyways, this was a really long episode. My plan was to have like hour-long episodes. So who knows if there will ever be another one that's long again. But yeah, I'm really glad that you chose to listen to this. I don't know who you are, but probably. But I think I'm actually gonna like post this on my Instagram. Be like, hey, I'm starting something new. And I have two friends that like legitimately have podcasts. And one of them was really excited for me. The other one I haven't told her yet. And I have a feeling I just don't want I'm like, guys, I'm not trying to be a professional podcaster. This is just for fun because I like to yap and I like the planning part and I liked naming all the segments, and I just want to feel like a talk show host, or like a radio show host, you know? Um, so who knows? This might die after like 3 episodes. So I'm not trying to come for anyone's job or anything. I just like to have fun, and I hope that she takes it well. If you're listening, hi, you know who you are. I love you. I listen to your podcast and I love you. So, yeah. Okay, well, that is all for me today. My computer is saying device struggling to record. Lovely. So, hopefully, this is even working. But thank you for listening. Leave a comment if you listen to this. If you even finished the episode. I have a feeling you probably didn't. But yeah, I hope you guys have a really great week, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.